नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथन्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय श्री प्रभात। Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhus. Welcome to the reading session. Jai Shri Prabhu. Okay, so today, because it is the appearance day of Lord Vamana Dev, we will read from Canto 8 about Bali Maharaj when Bali Maharaj surrenders the universe. Because yesterday we read the two previous chapters, so we will continue from this. Gary Bol, we shall begin. I'll read a short part and then we can change. Someone else can read after. Bali Maharaj surrenders the universe. The summary of this 20th chapter is as follows. Despite his knowledge that Lord Vamanadev was cheating him, Bali Maharaj gave everything to the Lord in charity, and thus the Lord extended his body and assumed gigantic form as Lord Vishnu. So before this, Lord Vamanadev had appeared before Bali Maharaj and Sukracharya, his guru, and then the guru said that no, he's Lord Vishnu. The Lord Vamanadev was asking three steps of land as charity from the Pali Maharaj because he was Brahmana and Pali Maharaj was Kshatriya and he knew that he's gonna want to give the charity. So he asked only three big pieces of land, and because he's dwarf, Lord Vamana Dev is dwarfs, and dwarfs have really short legs. So Bali Maharaj was thinking how he's asking only three steps of land, that I could give him an island or anything, but he's just asking three steps of land. So then he said that, oh, you should ask, you could have asked something more. That of course I'm gonna give you three steps of land if you want. And then Sukracharya, the guru of Bali Maharaj, knew who Lord Vamana Dev was, and he told to Bali Maharaj that, oh, he is asking you three steps, but he's gonna take the whole world because he's Lord Vishnu. He told like this, and he explained everything what is gonna happen. And then Bali Maharaj was like, oh, he's Lord Vishnu, then of course I want to give. And he disobeyed his guru because his guru was nonsense. So this is from where we continue. Bali Maharaj gave everything to the Lord in charity, and thus the Lord extended his body and assumed a gigantic form as Lord Vishnu. After hearing the instructive advice of Shukracharya, Bali Maharaj became contemplative. Because it is the duty of a householder to maintain the principles of religion, economic development, and sense gratification, Bali Maharaj thought it improper to withdraw his promise to the brahmachari. Because the Sukracharya told that, oh, you promised him 3 steps, take back your promise. That you're gonna lose everything. You can take back the promise to protect yourself. But Bali Maharaj thought that it's improper to withdraw the promise. To lie or fail to honor a promise given to a brahmachari is never proper, for lying is the most sinful activity. Everyone should be afraid of the sinful reactions to lying, for Mother Earth cannot even bear the weight of a sinful liar. The spreading of a kingdom or empire is temporary. If there is no benefit for the general public, such expansion has no value. Previously, all the great kings and emperors expanded their kingdoms with a regard for the welfare of the people in general. Indeed, while engaged in such activities for the benefit of the general public, eminent men sometimes even sacrifice their lives. It is said that one who is glorious in his activities is always living and never dies. Therefore, fame should be the aim of life, and even if one becomes poverty-stricken for the sake of a good reputation, that is not a loss. Pali Maharaj taught that even if this brahmachari, Vamana Dev, were Lord Vishnu, if the Lord accepted his charity and then again arrested him, Pali Maharaj would not envy him. Considering all these points, Bali Maharaj finally gave in charity everything he possessed. Lord Vamanadev then immediately extended himself into a universal body. By the mercy of Lord Vamanadev, Bali Maharaj could see that the Lord is all-pervading and that everything rests in his body. Bali Maharaj could see Lord Vamanadev as the supreme Vishnu, wearing a helmet, yellow garments, the mark of Srivatsa, the Kaustupa jewel, a flower garland, and ornaments decorating his entire body. The Lord gradually covered the entire surface of the world, and by extending his body, he covered the entire sky. With his hands, he covered all direction, and with his second footstep, he covered the entire upper planetary system. Therefore, there was no vacant place where he could take his third footstep. Okay, so we read the translation, and if there is something that we don't understand or we want to stop, we can read the purport also. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, O King Parikshit, when Bali Maharaj was thus advised by his spiritual master, Sukracharya, his family priest, he remained silent for some time, and then, after full deliberation, he replied to his spiritual master as follows. Bali Maharaj said, as you have already stated, the principle of religion that does not hinder one's economic development, sense gratification, fame, and means of livelihood is the real occupational duty of the householder. I also think that this religious principle is correct. I am the grandson of Maharaj Prahlad. How can I withdraw my promise because of for money when I have already said that I shall give this land? How can I behave like an ordinary cheater, especially toward the Brahmana? There is nothing more sinful than untruthfulness. Because of this, Mother Earth once said, I can bear any heavy thing except a person who is a liar. I do not fear hell, poverty, an ocean of distress, fall down from my position, or even death itself as much as I fear cheating a Brahmana. See how dangerous this is. He doesn't fear hell, but he fears cheating a Brahmana. My lord, You can also see that all the material opulences of this world are certainly separated from their possessors at death. Therefore, if the Brahmana, Vamana Dev, is not satisfied by whatever gifts one has given, why not please him with the riches one is destined to lose at death? Dhat Shibi, and many other great personalities were willing to sacrifice even their lives for the benefit of the people in general. This is the evidence of history. So why not give up this insignificant land? What is the serious consideration against it? He also gave reference from Shastra. O best of the Brahmanas, certainly the great demoniac kings who were never reluctant to fight and enjoyed this world. But in due course of time, everything they had was taken away, except their reputation, by which they continue to exist. In other words, one should try to achieve a good reputation instead of anything else. O best of Brahmanas, many men have laid down their lives on the battlefield, being unafraid of fighting, but rarely has one gotten the chance to give his accumulated wealth faithfully to a saintly person who creates holy places. Hmm. See, so donating to the temple project of Pondicherry is really rare, actually. In this verse, it
Yeah,
is said,
it's true.
rarely has one gotten the chance of give his accumulated wealth faithfully to a saintly person who creates holy places. By giving charity, a benevolent and merciful person undoubtedly becomes even more auspicious, especially when he gives charity to a person like your good self. Under the circumstances, I must give this little brahmachari whatever charity he wants from me. O great sage, great saintly persons like you, being completely aware of the Vedic principles for performing ritualistic ceremonies and yagnas, worship Lord Vishnu in all circumstances. Therefore, whether that same Lord Vishnu has come here to give me all benedictions or to punish me as an enemy, I must carry out his order and give him the requested tract of land without hesitation. Although he is Vishnu himself, out of fear he has covered himself in the form of Brahmana to come to me begging. Under the circumstances, because he has assumed the form of Brahmana, even if he irreligiously arrests me or even kills me, I shall not retaliate, although he is my enemy. He knew he is Lord Vishnu. If this Brahmana really is Lord Vishnu, who is worshipped by Vedic hymns, he would never give up his widespread reputation. Either he would lie down having been killed by me, or he would kill me in a fight. Sri Sukadeva Goswami continued. Thereafter, the spiritual master Sukracharya, being inspired by the Supreme Lord, cursed his exalted disciple Bari Maharaj, who was so magnanimous and fixed in truthfulness that instead of respecting his spiritual master's instruction, he wanted to disobey his order. The difference between the behavior of Bali Maharaj and that of his spiritual master Sukracharya was that Bali Maharaj had already developed love of Godhead, whereas Sukracharya, being merely a priest of routine rituals, had not. Thus, Sukracharya was never inspired by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to develop in devotional service. Hmm. So Bali Maharaj had already developed prema, love of Godhead. Thus, Sukracharya was never inspired by the Supreme Person of Godhead to develop in. Hmm. Bhagavad Gita 10:10 Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Devotees who actually engage in devotional service with faith and love are inspired by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vaishnavas are never concerned with ritualistic smarta brahmanas. Srila Sanatan Goswami has therefore compiled Hari Bhakti Vilas to guide the Vaishnavas who never follow the smarta vidhi. Although the Supreme Lord is situated in the core of everyone's heart, unless one is a Vaishnava, unless one is engaged in devotional service, one does not get sound advice by which to return home, back to Godhead. Such instructions are meant only for devotees. Therefore, in this verse, the word Daiva Prahitaha, being inspired by the Supreme Lord, is important. Sukracharya should have encouraged Bali Maharaj to give everything to Lord Vishnu. This would have been a sign of love for the Supreme Lord, but he did not do so. On the contrary, he wanted to punish his devoted disciple by cursing him. So he was a demon. This part was nice that Vaishnavas are never concerned with ritualistic smarta brahmanas. Although you have no knowledge, you have become so-called learned person, and therefore you dare be so impudent as to disobey my order. Because of disobeying me, you shall be very soon be bereft of all your opulence. The Sukracharya curses him to that he will lose all his opulence. But he was anyways going to donate everything to Lord Vishnu. Thus, Bali Maharaj could never be bereft of all opulences. The opulences offered by the Supreme Person of Godhead are not to be compared to the opulences obtained by Karma Kanda. In other words, if a devotee becomes very opulent, it is to be understood that his opulence is a gift of the Supreme Person of Godhead. Such opulence will never be vanquished, whereas the opulence achieved by one's fruitive activity may be vanquished at any moment. Sukadev Goswami continued, even after being cursed in this way by his own spiritual master, Bali Maharaj, being a great personality, never deviated from his determination. Therefore, according to custom, he first offered water to Vamana Dev and then offered him the gift of land he had promised. See, Bali Maharaj was born in a demon family, but still he was such a big devotee. Because he's I think he's grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, and Hiranyakashipu is in his he's in Hiranyakashipu's family lineage. Bali Maharaj's wife, known as Vidyavali, who was decorated with a necklace of pearls, immediately came and had a large golden water pot brought there, full of water with which to worship the Lord by washing his feet. Bali Maharaj, the worshipper of Lord Vamanadev, jubilantly washed the Lord's lotus feet and then took the water on his head, for that water delivers the entire universe. At that time, the residents of the higher planetary system, namely the demigods and Gandharvas, the Vidyadharas, the Siddhas, and the Charanas, all being very pleased by Bali Maharaj's simple, non-duplicitous act, praised his qualities and showered upon him millions of flowers. The Gandharvas, Kimpurushas, the Kinnaras sounded thousands and thousands of kettle drums and trumpets again and again, and they sang in great jubilation, declaring, how exalted a person is Bali Maharaj, and what a difficult task he has performed. Even though he knew that Lord Vishnu was on the side of his enemies, he nonetheless gave the Lord the entire three worlds in charity. The unlimited Supreme Person of Godhead, who had assumed the form of Vamana, then began increasing in size, acting in terms of the material energy, until everything in the universe was within his body, including the earth, the planetary system, the sky, the direction, the various holes in the universe, the seas, the oceans, the birds, beasts, human beings, the demigods, and the great saintly persons. How this happened? Bali Maharaj wanted to give charity to Vamana there, but the Lord expanded his body in such a way that he showed Bali Maharaj that everything in the universe is already in his body. Actually, no one can give anything to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for he is full in everything. Sometimes we see a devotee offering Ganga water to the Ganga. After taking his bath in the Ganga, a devotee takes a palmful of water and offers it back to the Ganga. Actually, when one takes a palmful of water from the Ganga does not lose anything. And similarly, if a devotee offers a palmful of water to the Ganga does not increase in any way. But by such an offering, the devotee becomes celebrated as a devotee of Mother Ganga. Similarly, when we offer everything with devotion and faith, what we offer does not belong to us, nor does it enrich the opulences of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But if one offers whatever he has in his possession, he becomes recognized devotee. In this regard, the example is given that when one's face is decorated with a garland and sandalwood pulp, the reflection of one's face in a mirror automatically becomes beautiful. The original source of everything is the Supreme Person of Godhead, who is our original source also. Therefore, when the Supreme Person of Godhead is decorated, the devotees and all living entities are decorated automatically. Okay, Haribol, who wants to continue from this part?
Hare Krishna, bro. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare
Glory
Krishna,
to Sri
Prabhu
Prabhupada.
Dandatam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhu.
Bali Maharaj, along with all the priests, acharyas, member of the assembly, observed the Supreme Personality of Godhead's universal body, which was full of six opulences. That body contained everything within the universe, including all gross elements, the senses, the sense objects, the mind, the intelligence, and false ego, the various kinds of living entities, and the action and reactions of the three modes of material nature. Therefore, Bali Maharaj, who was occupying the seat of a king, occupying the seat of King Indra, could see the lower planetary systems such as Rashatala and the soles of the feet of the Lord's universal form. He saw on the Lord's feet the surface of the globe, on the surface of his clefts, all the mountains on his knees, the various bars and on his thighs and varieties of air. Bali Maharaj saw beneath the garments of the Lord who acts wonderfully the evening twilight. In the Lord's private part, he saw the Prajapatis and the round portion of the west. He saw himself with his confidential associates. In the Lord's navel, he saw the sky. On the Lord's west, he saw the seven oceans. And on the Lord's bosom, he saw all the clusters of stars. My dear king, on the heart of the Lord Murari he saw religion, on the chest both pleasing words and truthfulness, in the mind the moon, on the bosom the goddess of fortune, with a lotus flower in her hand, on the neck all the Vedas and all sound vibrations, on the arms all the demigods headed by King Indra, in both ears all the directions, on the head the upper planetary system, on the hair the clouds, in the nostril the wind, on the eyes the sun, and in the mouth fire. From his words, from his words came all the Vedic mantras. On his tongue was the demigod of water, Varuna Deva. On his eyebrows were the regulative principle, and on his eyelids were day and night. When his eyes were open, it was daytime, and when they were closed, it was night. On his forehead was anger, and on his lips was greed. O king, in his touch were lusty desires, in his semen were all the waters, on his back was religion, and in his wonderful activities or steps was the fire of sacrifice. On his shadow was death, in his smile was the illusory energy, and on the hairs of his body were all the drugs and hearts. In his veins were all the rivers, on his nails were all the stones. In his intelligence were Lord Brahma, the demigods, and the great saintly persons. And throughout his entire body and senses were all living entities moving and stationary. Bali Maharaj thus saw everything in the gigantic body of the Lord. So please scroll down. O king, when all the demons, the followers of Maharaj Bali, saw the universal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who held everything within his body, when they saw in the Lord's hand his disc, known as Sudarshana Chakra, which generates intolerable heat, and when they heard the tumultuous sound of his bow, all this caused lamentation within their hearts. The Lord's constelled name Panchajanya, which made sounds like that of a cloud, a very forceful cloud named Komodaki, the sword named Vidyadhara, with a shield decorated with hundreds of moon-like spots, and all Akshaya, Akshaya, Akshayaka, the best of quivers. All of these appeared together to offer prayers to the Lord. These associates headed by Sunanda, Sunanda and other chief associates and accompanied by all the predominating deities of the various planets, offered prayer to the Lord, who wore a brilliant helmet, bracelets, and glittering earrings that assembled his. On the Lord's bosom were the lock of hair called Shivasa, and the transcendental jewel named Kaustava. He wore a yellow garment covered by a belt, and he was decorated by flower garland surrounded by bees, manifesting himself in this way, O King, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose activities are wonderful, covered the entire surface of the earth with one footstep, the sky with his body, and all directions with his arms. As the Lord took his second step, he covered the heavenly planets, and not even a spot remained for the third step. For the Lord's foot extended higher and higher, beyond Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, and even Satyaloka. When the Lord's footstep exceeded the height of all the lokas, including Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, and Satyaloka, his nails certainly pierced the covering of the universe. The universe is covered by the five material elements, Bhumi, Rapa, Nalo, Vayu, Kham, as stated in the Shastra. These elements are in layers, each 10 times thicker than the previous one. Nonetheless, the nails of the Lord pierced through all these layers and made a hole penetrating into the spiritual world. From this hole, the water of Ganges infiltrated into the material world, and therefore it is said, Padanakha Nira Janita Janapavana, Dasavatar Stotra, verse number 5. Because the Lord kicked a hole in the covering of the universe, the water of the Ganges came into this material world to deliver all the fallen souls. Chapter 21. Bali Maharaj arrested by the Lord. This chapter describes how Lord Vishnu, desiring to advise the glories of Bali Maharaj, arrested him for not fulfilling his promise in regard to the last hard step. With the second step, the Supreme Personality of Godhead reached the topmost planet of the universe, Brahmaloka, which is diminished in the beauty by the effulgence of his toenails. Thus, Lord Brahma, accompanied by great sages like Marichi and the predominating deity of all the higher planets, offered humble prayers and worship to the Lord. They washed the lotus feet and worshipped him with all paraphernalia. Raksharaja, Raksharaja Jambhavan flared his bugle to vibrate the glories of the Lord. When Bali Maharaj was deprived of all his possessions, the demons were very angry. Although Bali Maharaj warned them not to do so, they took up weapons against Lord Vishnu. All of them were defeated, however, by Lord Vishnu's eternal associates, and in accordance with Bali Maharaj's order, they all entered the lower planets of the universe. Understanding Lord Vishnu's purpose, Garuda, the carrier of Lord Vishnu, immediately arrested Bali Maharaj with the robes of Varuna. When Bali Maharaj was thus reduced to a helpless position, Lord Vishnu asked him for the third step of land because Lord Vishnu appreciated Bali Maharaj's determination and integrity. When Bali Maharaj was unable to fulfill his promise, Lord Vishnu ascertained that the place for him would be the planet Sutala, which is better than the planets of heaven. Sukadev Goswami continued. When Lord Brahma, who was born of a lotus flower, saw that the effulgence of his residence Brahmaloka had been reduced by the glaring effulgence from the toenails of Lord Vamandev, he approached the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Brahma was accompanied by all the great sages headed by Marichi and by yogis like Shanananda, but in the presence of that glaring effulgence, O King, even Lord Brahma and his associates seems insignificant. Among the great personalities who came to worship the lotus feet of the Lord were those who had attained perfection in self-control and regulative principles, and well, principles, as well as experts in logic, history, general education, and the Vedic literature known as Kalpe, dealing with old historical incidents. Other were experts in the Vedic corollaries like Brahma Samhita, all the other knowledge of the Vedas, Sama, Yajur, Rik, and Atharva, and also the supplementary Vedic knowledge, Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, Itishi. Others were those who had been freed of the reactions to fruitive activities by transcendental knowledge awakened by practice of yoga. And still, others were those who had attained a residence in Brahmaloka not by ordinary karma but by advanced Vedic knowledge. After devotedly worshipping the upraised lotus feet of the Supreme Lord with oblations of water, Lord Brahma, who was born of the lotus emanating from Lord Vishnu's navel, offered prayer to the Lord. O King, the water from Lord Brahma's kamandal washed the lotus feet of Lord Brahmanadeva, who is known as Urukrama, the wonderful actor. Thus, the water becomes so pure that it was transformed into the water of the Ganges, which went flowing down from the sky, purifying the three worlds like the pure flame of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Brahma and all the predominating deities of the various planetary systems began to worship Lord Vamandev, their supreme master who had reduced himself from his all pervading form to his original form. They collected all the ingredients and paraphernalia for this worship. They worshipped the Lord by offering fragrant flowers, water, padya and arghya, sandalwood pulp and aguru pulp, incense, lamps, fused rice, unbroken grains, fruits, roots, and sprouts. While so doing, they offered prayers indicating the glorious activities of the Lord and shouted, Jai, Jai. They also danced, played instruments, sang, sounded conchs, and beat kettle drums. In this way, worshipping the Lord. Jambavan, king of the beards, also joined in the ceremony, sounding his bugle in all directions. He declared a great festival for Lord Vamandev's victory. When the demoniac followers of Bali Maharaj Bali saw that their master, who had been determined in performing sacrifice, had lost all his possessions to Bamandev, who had taken them away on the plea of begging pieces of land, they were very angry and spoke as follows. This Baman is certainly not a Brahmana, but the best of cheaters, Lord Vishnu. Assuming the form of a Brahmana, he has covered his own form and thus he is working for the interests of the demigods. Our Lord Bali Maharaj, because of his position in performing the yajna, has given up the power to punish. Taking advantage of this, our eternal enemy Vishnu, dressed in the form of a brahmachari beggar, has taken away all his possessions. Our Lord Bali Maharaj is always fixed in truthfulness, and this is especially so at present, since he has been initiated into performing a sacrifice. He is always king, he is always kind and merciful towards the Brahmanas, and he cannot at any time speak lies. Therefore, it is our duty to kill this Vamandev, Lord Vishnu. It is our religious principle and the way to serve our master. After making this decision, the demoniac followers of Maharaj Bali took up their various weapons with a view to killing Bamandev. O king, the demons, aggravated by their usual anger, took their lances and tridents in hand, and against the will of Bali Maharaj, they pushed forward to kill Lord Vamandev. O king, when the associates of Lord Vishnu saw the soldiers of the demons coming forward in violence, they smiled. Taking up their weapons, they forbade the demons to continue their attempt. Nanda, Shunanda, Jai, Vijay, Pravala, Vala, Kumuda, Kumudaksha, Visakshana, Patatrirat, Garuda, Jayanta, Shrutadeva, Pushpadanta, and Satvata were all associates of Lord Vishnu. They were as powerful as 10,000 elephants. And now they began killing the soldiers of the demons. When Bali Maharaj saw that his own soldiers were being killed by the associates of Lord Vishnu, he remembered the gods Shukracharya and forbade his soldiers to continue fighting. O Viprachitti, O Rahu, O Nemi, please hear my words. Don't fight. Stop immediately. For the present time, it is not in our favor. O Daityas, by human efforts, no one can supersede the Supreme Personality of Godhead who can bring happiness and distress to all living entities. The Supreme Time Factor, which represents the Supreme Personal Person, was previously in our favor, not in favor of the demigods, but now the same time factor is against us. No one can surpass the time representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by material power, by the Council of Ministers, by intelligence, by diplomacy, by mystic mantras, by drugs, by herbs, or by any other means. Previously, being empowered by Providence, you defeated a great number of such followers of Lord Vishnu. But today, those same followers having defeated us are roaring in jubilation like lions. Unless Providence is in our favor, we shall not be able to gain victory. Therefore, we must wait for the favorable time when our defeating them will be possible. Sukadeva Goswami continued, O king, in accordance with the order of their master Bali Maharaj, all the chiefs of the demons and the Daityas entered the lower regions of the universe, to which they were driven by the soldiers of Vishnu. Thereafter, on the day of Somapana, after the sacrifice was finished, Garuda, king of birds, understanding the desire of his master, arrested Bali Maharaj with the robes of Varuna. And Bali Maharaj was thus arrested by Lord Vishnu, which the most powerful, there was a great roar of lamentation in all directions throughout the upper and the lower planetary systems of the universe. O king, the supreme personality of Godhead Vamandev then spoke to Bali Maharaj, the most liberal and celebrated personality whom he had arrested with the robes of Varuna. Bali Maharaj had lost all body lusters, but he was nonetheless fixed in his determination. O king of the demons, you have promised to give me steps of land, but I have occupied the entire universe with 2 steps. Now think about where I should put my third. As far as the sun and moon shine with the stars, and as far as the clouds pour rain, all the land throughout the universe is in your possession. Of these possessions, with 1 step I have occupied Burloko, and with my body I have occupied the entire sky and all direction, and in your presence, with my 2nd step I have occupied the upper planetary system. Because you have been unable to give charity according to your promise, the rule is that you should go down to live in the hellish planets. Therefore, in accordance with the order of Sukracharya, your spiritual master, now go down and live there. Far from being elevated to the heavenly planets or fulfilling one's desire, one who does not properly give a beggar what he has promised fall down to a hellish condition of life. Being falsely proud to your possessions, you promised to give me land, but you could not fulfill your promise. Therefore, because your promise was false, you must live for a few years in hellish life.
Anymore. Okay, let's read this summary part. Then we can go to six Astakam prayers.
Yes.
Who wants to continue?
So I'm traveling now. Disturbance is there. So
Yes, bro.
is there disturbance, Prabhu?
A little bit.
Is there a disturbance?
Yes, Prabhu, there's some background noise.
Okay, then sorry, Prabhu.
No problem, Prabhu.
You can.
Okay, I can.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please extend my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhu, you can also read.
Bali Maharaj surrenders his life. The summary of the 22nd chapter is as follows. The Supreme Personality of Godhead was pleased by the behavior of Bali Maharaj. Thus, the Lord placed him on the planet Sutala, and thereafter bestowing benedictions upon him. The Lord agreed to become his doorman. Bali Maharaj was extremely truthful. Being unable to keep his promise, he was very much afraid, for he knew that one who has deviated from the truthfulness is insignificant in the eyes of society. An exalted person can suffer the consequences of hellish life, but he is very much afraid of being defamed for deviation from the truth. Bali Maharaj agreed with great pleasure to accept the punishment awarded by him by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bali Maharaj destiny was there. Bali Maharaj specifically remembered the determination of Prahlad Maharaj in the devotional service. Considering all the points, he decided to give his head in charity as the place for the Vishnu's third step. Bali Maharaj also considered how great personalities give up their family relationships and material possessions to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Indeed, they sometimes even sacrifice their life for the satisfaction of the Lord, just to become his personal servants. Accordingly, by following the footsteps of previous acharyas and devotees, Bali Maharaj perceived himself successful. While Bali Maharaj, having been arrested by the ropes of Varuna, was offering prayers uh, to the Lord, his grandfather Prahlad Maharaj appeared there and described how the Supreme Personality of Godhead had delivered Bali Maharaj by taking his possessions in a tricky way. While Prahlad Maharaj was present, Lord Brahma and Bali's wife Vidyavali described the supremacy of the Supreme Lord. Since Bali Maharaj had given everything to the Lord, they prayed for his release. The Lord then described how a non-devotee's possession of wealth is a danger, whereas a devotee's opulence is a benediction from the Lord. Then, being pleased with Bali Maharaj, the Supreme Lord offered his disc to protect Bali Maharaj and promised to remain with him.
You go. Okay, let's see what is here. You can read this summary also.
Uh, the demigods regained the heavenly planets. This chapter describes how Bali Maharaj, along with his grandfather Prahlad Maharaj, entered the planet Satula, and how the Supreme Personality of Godhead allowed Indra to re-enter the heavenly planet. The great soul Bali Maharaj experienced that the highest gain in life is to attain devotional service under the shelter of Lord's lotus feet in full surrender. Being fixed in this conclusion, his heart full of ecstatic love, ecstatic devotion, and his eyes full of tears, he offered obeisances to the personality of Godhead, and then, with his associates, entered the planet known as Sutula. Thus, the Supreme Personality of Godhead satisfied the desire of Aditi and reinstalled Lord Indra. Prahlad Maharaj, being aware of Bali's release from arrest, then described the transcendental pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this material world. Prahlad Maharaj praised the Supreme Lord for creating the material world, for being equal to everyone, and for being extremely liberal to devotees, just like a desired tree. Indeed, Prahlad Maharaj said that the Lord is kind not only to his devotees but also to the demons. In this way, described the unlimited causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then, with his folded hands, he offered his respectful obeisances unto the Lord, and after circumambulating the Lord, he entered the planet Sutula in accordance with the Lord's order. The Lord then ordered Sukracharya to describe Bali Maharaj's fault and discrepancies in executing the sacrificial ceremony. Sukracharya became free from fruitive actions by chanting the holy name of the Lord. And he explained how chanting can diminish all the faults of the conditioned soul. He then completed Bali Maharaj sacrificial ceremony. All the great saintly person accepted Lord Vamana Deva as the benefactor of Lord Indra, because he returned Indra to his heavenly planet. They accepted the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the maintainer of all the affairs of the universe. Being very happy, Indra, along with his associates, placed Vamana Deva before him and re entered the heavenly planet in their airplane. Having seen the wonderful activities of Lord Vishnu in the sacrificial arena of Bali Maharaj, all the demigods, saintly persons, pitas, bhutas, siddhas glorified the Lord again and again. The chapter concludes by saying that the most auspicious function of the conditioned soul is to chant and hear about the glorious activities of Lord Vishnu.
Haribo, Lord Vamana Dev Ki
Oh,
Jai. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for
right. Great.
Whenever the activities of Vamanadev are described in the course of a ritualistic ceremony, whether the ceremony be performed to please the demigods, to please one's forefathers in Pitralok, or to celebrate a social event like a marriage, the ceremony should be understood to be extremely auspicious. Here. If one hears the uncommon activities of the Supreme Person of Godhead in its various incarnations, he is certainly elevated to the higher planetary systems or even brought back home, back to Godhead. One who is subject to death cannot measure the glories of the Supreme Person of Godhead, Trivikrama, Lord Vishnu, any more than he can count the numbers of atoms on the entire planet Earth. No one, whether born already or destined to take birth, is able to do this. Thus being sung by the great This has been sung by the great sage Vasishta. Those who hear about this are certainly freed from all the results of their sinful activities. Okay, Haribo. Now let's go to six Astakam prayers. चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावादुजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वात्मा स्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्
नाम नामकारी बहुधा निज सर्वशक्ति तत्रार्पित नियमितः स्मरणेन कालः एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमीदृशमिह जनिनानुरागः।
गणादपि सुनीचेन करोडपि सहिष्णुना येन कीर्तनेन सदा हरि
न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवतद्भक्तिरहैतुकी त्वयि
अयि नन्दातनुजा किङ्करं पतितं मां विस्मये भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कज स्थिता धूलिसदृशं विचिन्तयात्।
नैनं प्रदा शूर्धराय वदनं विस्फुटर्दया गिरा कृपेण चिन्तां दुर्गदा Savanamagane Bhavishyati.
युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्राविर्ष्यायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे
आश्लिष्यवापादरतां नष्टु माम् आदर्शनां मर्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विधिधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव नापरः
Haribo. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benedictions to living beings. And thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. They are not even hard and fast rule. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
Should chant the holy name of the Lord in a full state of mind, thinking oneself God and the soul and the spirit. One should be more tolerant and treat devoid of all sense of false prestige and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yours. Yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
Oh my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love, flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
O Govinda, feeling our separations, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from us like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna is my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or make me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is the complete, he is completely free to do anything and everything. He is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.
Haribo, Sri Siksastakam Vijay.
Jai.
Okay, then the 10 offenses to the holy name. First offense is to blaspheme the devotees who had dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name.
Second, second offense to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma to be equal or independent to the name of the Lord Vishnu.
Haribo,
Third, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master.
Haribo. Mm, is
Third
this?
offense is to disobey the orders of the spiritual master.
Yes, Prabhu. What is fourth one? I forgot.
To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures,
First, to the Vedic.
first one, Vedic version.
Yes, Prabhu. Fifth one is to it's the imagination.
Consider. Consider.
To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination.
Sixth one to blaspheme. Sorry.
Fifth one is
To give some interpretation to the holy name.
yes, Prabhu. Seven,
7 to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name.
evil. 8-1
Eighth one
to consider.
is to
It's the
consider
karma kanda.
my
Eighth is to consider the chanting of holy names as one of the auspicious ritual activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda.
Evil, yes.
reward.
9th one is to instruct the faithless person about the glories of holy name. Final offense, to not have faith in chanting of holy name and to maintain materialistic attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema. Panchakalpatarubhyacha, Jaya Namaha. Haribo.
Vaishnava Namo Namaha.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Aman Dvadasi ki
Jai
jai.
Hari Bol.
Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Gaura Premanand. Haribo.
Hare Hare Bol.
Vamana
Hari
Devi ki
Hari
jai.
Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you so much for this.